Parents, in case you haven't received, there's a little ticket I have some guys handing out for you. Put your name on the back because you have a chance to win a $50 gift card to Donald's. So if you want to participate in that, there's some guys coming around with tickets, and you have to write your name on the back, and then we'll collect it. All right, if we all want to start making our way in, that would be great. All right, if you want to go on ahead and make your way in, there's plenty of seats up front if you'd like to sit there. Come on in, find a seat, please. All right, let's get started. I'm going to open up in a word of prayer, and then we'll go. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for Christian education, and we thank you for the young people. Pray that you'd bless our time of orientation. We ask this in your name, Jesus, amen. So just a couple of things as you're making your way in. Please be patient with me. I was yelling at soccer practice today across the field several times, and my voice went out. So I'm going to be squeaking a little bit, so you'll have to bear with me. Want to start off by thanking you for being a part of First Baptist School, and we appreciate all of you. And we'll go through some of our rules, and I'll give you a lot of information. Students, you're going to hear a more detailed version of this when we have our orientation on Monday. But most of this will address the parents, some for the young people. So young people, some of the things I want you to hear, I'll have you in for, and then I'm going to dismiss you, and then parents will talk through a few things. First thing I want to do is let you know about a couple of things that are important to you. So parents, each of you is going to receive a packet, which many of you began to grab when you came in. The packet has some detailed information that's discussing many of the things that I'm saying tonight. You'll be able to see it in more detail, but make sure you grab that packet if you haven't done so. They're outside. Mrs. Bruffy and Mrs. Murphy have that. In that packet is the technology acceptance policy. We have updated our technology in the computer lab, and so we want to make sure parents and students sign that so that we're on the same page. And it just means you're agreeing to use our computers responsibly. Then in addition to that, we have a student handbook quick guide. So the quick guide gives you information that's vitally important regarding attendance, schoolwork, grades, textbooks, so on and so forth. Okay? And then the final document is going to be in the 10th through 12th graders packet, but it goes through career planning and PSEO. We have a great post-secondary option for students who excel academically. You're able to participate in that. And we do some things beforehand to really help students be prepared for that. We take the PSAT, which is the pre-SAT. That's administered at our school for the 10th, 11th graders. Mrs. Bruffy administers that. But that helps us to look and see if you're qualified for PSEO. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that. And then inside of that packet is the QR code for your GradeLink information. GradeLink is the program we use for you to be able to check on your grades and check on your child, okay? And I'm going to ask if I could have everyone be as quiet as possible. Once again, I want to make sure everyone's hearing what I'm saying, so students especially, I need you not to talk. And then staff, if we can shut the back doors as well, that would be great and helpful to me. And then once again, as I mentioned, bear with my voice. It's going to squeak tonight, sorry, okay? I want to announce to you an opportunity we have. Mr. Olemaker is going to be offering chess classes after school. And so if you're interested in that, it'll be from 3:15 to 4:15, and it's for 6 different sessions. The cost is $60. The classes are on different dates, so it goes from beginning of September through the middle or end of October, and he'll have sign-up sheets in the back. But a great opportunity for you. Mr. O has been teaching in the public schools as well, many of these chess classes. He does a really great job, and so now he's bringing that to our school. So if you're interested in that, the sign-up sheet's back there, but you're welcome to come up after and look at this. Okay, now let's get started with the information, all right? So some general information you need to know. School starts at 8 a.m. every day, and I'm asking you to have your student here 10 minutes early. This is really helpful to us. We want kids in opening right at 8 o'clock so that we can get them the information they need for the day and so they can get to class on time. You are paying for us to teach your child. So please have them here on time so we can teach them. I also want to say this. Parents who have older high school students who drive, I need your help. We want your student here on time. Several of your students show up at 9 o'clock. School starts at 8. That means they missed their first hour. Several seniors last year ended up, when they marched across the platform, there was a paper missing in their diploma packet because they didn't show up to school on time. So I'm making sure everyone understands. If your child isn't here and over absences. They will be in summer school. So you make sure they're here. You got to do that. High school kids, don't abuse your car privileges. I have no problem calling your mom and dad and saying, maybe you should take that away from them. So you be here when you're supposed to be. Don't decide to go to breakfast. Don't decide to go do your own thing. You're here. We're being paid to educate you. Be here. And everyone said amen, because that's good. Some of you are testifying back there. I appreciate that. So make sure you're here. And then I'm going to skip past the school ends for elementary part, but then it's at 2:45 for them, but then 3 o'clock for the secondary. So if you have an elementary student and a secondary student, what we're asking is for you to go to the back parking lot right by the ball fields. You pull up, you pick up your middle schools or your elementary student, and then you can come on around and get your secondary student. But we are asking you not, if you have to wait for a kid, hold up the line. Pick a parking spot. I don't care if you park in the handicap spot. Just don't park in the lane and stand there, okay? So if you have to get out or your kid's taking forever, go park for us. That would be great. And then if you have a student in the secondary, make sure you pay attention to our school calendar, because there's so many events, especially for the secondary, and make sure you know that regarding days off, so on and so forth. Also, snow days will be reported to the local stations, and a text will be sent out. We did a really good job last year of having kids not show up, but we did still have some kids show up. So you need to make sure on the snow days, don't come. Look at the text messages. By the way, if you never receive any text messages from us, please call the school office to let us know that, to make sure that you're not missing information, all right? So we're on the same page. Some rule changes and clarifications. Hair. Okay, boys should have a neat and clean haircut that is off the ears, eyebrows, and neck. Boys should have their hair a natural color. That means we don't want the boys dyeing their hair, or the girls for this matter, blue, green, yellow, orange, pink, you fill in the blank. We just want normal hairdos. And I'm stressing that because of this, okay? Our rules are not necessarily, some rules are because obviously we're a Christian school, but this doesn't fall into that category as much as we just want to make simple. Simple has become my favorite word. That's why we have uniforms. That's why we do everything we do. Simple. I don't want to be in the business of saying, well, you shouldn't have that haircut and you shouldn't have. No, we're all doing the same thing, okay? So I'm asking you to help me, parents, help us to comply, make it simple on me, okay? And then in addition to that, we do not want certain hairstyles like wrestling hair, hockey hair. We're looking for some simple style, so I'm just going to show. Simple, it's nice, clean cut. I want that, okay? This is acceptable, just nice, clean cut, okay? Not acceptable. I don't want you, as much as I've born in the 80s, I love a good mullet. I'm jealous I can't have one, but don't come with a mullet. We don't want you cutting designs in your hair. I don't want a mohawk. I don't want your braids down to here. I don't want 50 cut lines and designs in your hair. Simple, okay? That would help me. If you have any questions, you can come and talk to me. And I'm just gonna tell you, parents, there's gonna be times when maybe your kid gets a haircut and I just say, hey, I need you to change it. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. It's just, I want it simple, okay? All right? Now, a couple other things here. With our dress code, this consists of an FBS polo, Oxford, and we're making a change this year. Any Crusader shirt or t-shirt in the secondary can be worn every day, okay? Every day, boys and girls. You should be happy. But here's what I need. Everyone has to still own, though, a blue or green shirt and a blue skirt or blue pants for the boys. You have to own that for the yearbook pictures and for the different events like Max, for the junior high, so on and so forth. So you got to have that. But to make sure everyone understands, you could come to school Monday with your blue or khaki pants, boys, and you could have a Bike-a-thon shirt on. And it's not a Friday. It could be a Monday, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Girls, you can do the same thing, and you can have your blue skirt and any Crusader Bike-a-thon shirt. The only thing you cannot do, you can't wear your PE shirt to school. The reason why is some of you, your PE shirt grows mold in your locker because you use it for PE. Don't use your PE shirt. So Crusader wear, you can wear that. If you're a new family, we will hook you up with Crusader wear. We have an online store that we're switching to a new person, but we'll get that information out to you. But in the meantime, I might have some random Bike-a-thon shirts or something that we can sell you for a small fee, okay? So we'll get that to you. And then, in addition to that, just notice the different places to buy things. Girls, you can go to Donald's or Land's End. That's an online store. You can use Donald's as in St. Paul. And then boys, same thing. You have a couple more options one more option with Kohl's, Donald's, or Land's End. But we just want khaki pants that are school standard. This means this, and parents, I want you all to hear this. Your kid cannot wear their black jeans to school. Black jeans are not a part of our uniform. Jeans, period, are not a part of our secondary uniform, okay? So khaki pants or even dress slacks, just like this, that are blue or brown like khaki. They can wear that, okay? So everyone hear that, students? So when you come to school, boys, don't show up in black pants or jeans. Otherwise, I'm just gonna send you right to the office and you'll be calling your parents to come bring you a uniform, okay? Unless you want to buy a new one from us. I don't think you want to do that. So, in addition to that, the sweatshirt issue that we've had throughout the years, we've had a hard time sometimes with an older building. Our cooling and heating systems have become an issue. So what we're allowing is this. The layers can consist of any Crusader jacket, a solid vacation jacket, something that's like, you went to Mackinac Island. You can wear that sweatshirt. Or it can be like Nike Adidas. What it can't be is, we're a Christian school. So you don't come to school with some rock group or some rap group on your sweatshirt. Okay? I'm a music major, so I know music. I'll know what you have. And I'll say, no, not gonna work. So don't do that. We're not wearing an AC/DC shirt or some crazy weird thing like that. I saw that at school last year. So not gonna happen, okay? Make sure you wear what you're supposed to, all right? Next. Okay, some other things here, tardies and detention. Students in the secondary who receive 12 tardies to class will serve a 1-hour detention. Parents, we're trying to communicate this information to you. We are going to email you, call you, text you, I'll send a letter, we will send something. But what I need you to do is this. I know it can be inconvenient for you, but we're trying to teach your kids to be on time to their classes. So when they're tardy, we want them to serve that suspension, or that detention, to teach them to be where they're supposed to be. And sometimes it undermines what we're trying to help with if you just say, well, I can't do that. They can't do it because of this. Well, we've notified you. So let them serve that detention, okay? If you're in a real bind, I will drive them home for you. But I want them to learn you need to be on time, okay? And then, students receiving more than 4 detentions for tardiness in 1 semester will serve a 1-day suspension, okay? That is basically saying this. The student has been tardy 48 times to class. That's a lot of tardies. And it happens. And here's what happens. Precious Johnny and Precious Susie decide, I'm going to hide out in the bathroom and talk. And they show up to class 15 minutes late. We don't want that, and I know you don't want that. And so if they're getting tardies, they're getting it for a reason. Now, I will tell you this, and parents, I want kids to hear this. Kids are going to come home sometimes and be like, Mother, Father, teacher not like me, so mean to me. They're singling me out. No, I think I'm going to have you come to school and watch. Okay? Some of the kids just abuse that. They don't get to where they're supposed to be. So we're all on the same page, hearing the same thing. So kids, your parents know now your tricks, okay? So be where you're supposed to be on time. Moving on. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. I'm skipping down some things here. Students, once again, students more than 15 minutes late without a pass will be counted absent for the class period. And there are different situations where we do excuse a student's tardiness. You know, you ate something bad at lunch. We understand that happens. But it shouldn't be every day, okay? And then attendance. 10 days of absence per semester is the maximum. And I really want to stress that, especially for kids that are in high school. If you're missing more than those days, you're losing high school credit. That is not a First Baptist rule. That is a state of Minnesota rule. You're supposed to be in school. You have to be. If you don't show up to school after a certain amount of days, I'm supposed to report you to the truancy officer. So you need to be at school. Really emphasizing that, okay? Arrivals after 8 a.m. is tardy. 15 tardies to school equals 1 hour detention. After school detentions generally are served the first and third Wednesday of each month. So now you will know that. It'll be one of those times. If there's ever a change, we'll notify you of that. And then we're asking parents to provide a reason for late arrivals, early departures, and absences, because we have to record that. So obviously we're an accredited school. We operate still, even though we're not a public school, we still have to report to the state of Minnesota kids' attendance. And so we need to have detailed records. So we'll ask you all that information, okay? And then we'll move on now to the dropping and adding of courses. Just going to state just a couple of things here. We've changed this because some high school students in particular have tried to change their classes without parents knowing. So a high school student may drop or add a course during the first week of school. That means this Monday that you're coming to school through Friday, you can change a class with administrative approval and parental approval. You can change. After that, you cannot, okay? So making sure everybody understands that. Then, one other change that we want to make sure is understood by everybody. Textbooks are the property of FBS and must be returned in good condition. The reason why we're making that change is this. The cost of textbooks has gone up substantially. I am trying to keep prices down for you as the parent. Your registration actually does not cover the full cost of the books. You pay $500 or $600 for most of the books altogether. We're talking like $700 or $800. Okay, so we're going to try to keep track of those books and keep them. So we're asking parents, help your student to keep those books in order. That means Johnny, Susie, don't decide to play Frisbee with your book and throw it in the locker. So, because then we have to charge for that, okay? Take care of your books. And then fines will be assessed at the discretion of administration. So I'm going to have the teachers look at all the books at the end of the year, and I know it's subjective. But I am going to make it very clear to you parents, I know you're paying lots of money, so my goal is not to just nickel and dime you. I do not want to do that. But I'm going to look at the books and I'm going to make a decision the best that I can, okay? And so I want you to know that. And then progress reports posted in GradeLink. we're going to have that for you. It's going to cover the first 4 weeks of that period, and then you'll have a report card that's sent home at the end of each quarter, and we're asking that you have it signed and returned within 1 week of us handing that out to you, okay? So I want to make sure that you do that. We just want to know that you're seeing students' grades, and I'm making an emphasis to my staff. I'm telling my staff, if a kid starts failing, they're notifying you. Phone calls, emails, they are making sure they're in contact with you, because I don't want any kid that's just left behind and struggling. And so that's why we're making sure all these things are available to you, and I'm encouraging you, please use GradeLink. As administrator, I can see the last time that you log in. Some parents have not logged in since 2020 or 2021. So you need to log in so you know what your kids are doing. And I'm just saying, even if you think your kid, all A student, I would just check. Because then you're able to see demerits, grades, all that stuff, okay? So make sure you log in. Then, we're gonna move on here, and demerits, suspensions. So if a student receives 25 demerits, a demerit for you new families is, basically we use kind of like a point system. If you look at our handbook, there's certain infractions that can cause you to tally up so many points that eventually leads to expulsion. And so at these different levels, you're notified by a letter or a phone call just to make sure, or email to make sure you understand that your child has accumulated these demerits. And I won't go through all things that cause demerits, but you're able to look at that quick guide or the handbook to see that. But if a student gets 25 demerits, a letter is sent home, and it must be signed and returned within 1 week from the notice. Failure to do so is 1 hour detention. 50 demerits, same thing. Student will serve 1 hour detention. 75 demerits, student will serve a 2-hour detention. 100 demerits, 1 day suspension, a meeting with me, or in the middle school, Mr. McKay. And then 125, parents receive a notice as well of basically your student could be expelled. And then 150 is expulsion. Expulsion is a big deal. If you do that, so many demerits, that means your student doesn't get credit if they're in high school, and in middle school it means that they have forfeited their getting a grade from us because they're expelled. So make sure you're staying on top of those demerits, and once again, there's a list of things that you'll be able to look at in the handbook. And then our grading, we are making sure everybody understands this. All assignments are due at the beginning of each day, not at 3:05. Due at the beginning of each day. If it is not handed in at that time, it's late. 1 day late is 10%, 2 day late, and all the way through 5 days will be docked an additional 10%. After 6 days, it's recorded as 0. And we've also added something else that's vitally important for you parents to pay attention to. If your child hasn't turned in an assignment, I've instructed all of the teachers, they will mark an incomplete so that parents know that the child hasn't turned it in. One of the issues that has happened in years past is, so let's say a kid was sick and they missed the assignment that day. The teacher left it blank. It looked blank on your side, but on our side, we marked it as absent. Well, the student eventually turns it in, but they've turned it in well past the amount of days that they were given. So then all of a sudden, we put in the 0. The parent sees it, says, well, how'd they get a 0? My kid says they turned it in. Well, they did turn it in, but they were sick on Tuesday and didn't turn it in till next Wednesday, and not Wednesday of that week, the following week. So that's why we're gonna mark it sick or not. It's an incomplete, and then the teacher's end will have a note by it saying what happens. You will not necessarily see that note on your end, but you'll know that's an incomplete. And students, you're gonna wanna make sure you make that up and get it turned in. Okay? And then makeup slips from the school office. We have changed this system a little bit, but if you are going to be absent or gone, you have to fill out a makeup slip. That means if you're sick, you have to go to the office, students, fill out that makeup slip. Parents, you have to contact the office, once again, to let us know the reason why that student was gone, okay? I'm also asking this. If you have a family vacation or something, I really encourage you, please, if you can, look at the school calendar to see if you can plan around the different events. Do not, if you can help it, do not schedule vacations during achievement testing time. It is one of the hardest things to make up for students. Please don't do that. If you can, schedule it when we have scheduled days off. That would be amazing. Because what happens is this. You decide to go on a trip for 3 or 4 weeks in some cases. That is really tough on your student. And it's really tough on the teacher because we have to try to catch that student up. And your kid's missing a lot of time. So I'm encouraging you, try not to do that. It would be very helpful to us, but helpful to your student as well. Okay? And then also with the absences, as you do the makeup slip, we would like, if you're going on vacation, can you let us know a couple of weeks in advance? Your student, let us know as well. We've had some kids show up with a makeup slip on a Thursday, and you guys are going out of town on Friday. They're not going to get that work done. So I'm letting you know now, if they do that, it's not going to be approved because they didn't do it before it needed to be. So your kid needs to make sure that they get it done, and you can call me just to make sure. I'd rather, almost parents, you communicate it with me because your kid might forget, okay? So I want you to know that. And you have any questions, again, please talk to me about that. And then athletic eligibility. We've made a change in this as well that we think will be better for the athletes and better for the whole system. So we're going to check. Normally we used to check at the end of 3 weeks. We are now checking at the 4 week and the end of the quarter. Students may have no more than 2 Ds. So if you have 2 Ds, you're still eligible. But if you have more than that, now you're out, okay? You can't have any incomplete homework. If the athlete has no incomplete work and no Fs, they may return to practice or games. Grade of an F, an athlete cannot play in a game, nor can they practice. So if you have an F, we're sending you home, okay, to get your work done. And then incomplete missing work must be turned in by Friday at 2 p.m. for eligibility. And I want to explain that. So a kid, the grading comes out on Wednesday. The kid comes up to the teacher, hands in a bunch of work at 2:05. The game's at 3:30. Grade this now for me. That's not going to work because you have to understand, if you turn in things late, students, your teacher doesn't just teach you. Your English teacher teaches 95 other kids. So you're asking her or him to stop in the middle and grade your assignment that you didn't turn in on time. That's not fair. So we're telling you, you better have it, for you to be eligible, it has to be turned in on time. But if it is late, don't expect the teacher to all of a sudden have you ready to play the game at 3:30, okay? Everyone understand that. Then another issue that I would like for us to solve is this. Athletes must arrive at school by 9 a.m. to practice and play. And I want to make sure everyone understands this, okay? I notice trends, and I'm not liking this thing that I'm seeing. Athlete plays a volleyball game or basketball game or a soccer game on Tuesday night. Every Wednesday, athlete shows up at 10 a.m. for school. Okay? I just don't think that's right. You play the sport. You show up to school on time the next day. Unless I have given some administrative approval. There's rare times where we go up to Lake Region Christian School. That's 3 hours away. we get home at 1 in the morning, okay? I will approve and give you a late start. You don't decide, you get one. If you do that, that's fine. You can show up at 9:05, but guess what? You can come to my office and ask me all you want, and I'm going to say, you're not playing today. You need to be at school. Notice I'm emphasizing this because a lot of young kids have abused this. Be at school. You need to learn. Okay? So, don't decide you're always sick after a game day. Okay? Well, now that I've made some people mad, let's be happy now. More happy things. Okay? Technology and the acceptable use policy, just need both parents and students to sign that. One other thing I want you to know, no smartwatches during the school day, 8 to 3 p.m. This goes along with their cell phones. I want their cell phones in their locker. Here's the issue. I know some parents have said, hey, I want you to have your cell phone on you. The problem is this. Students, I'm going to be very transparent with you, okay? I have ways of checking social media throughout the day. Your precious child has recorded classroom things in the middle of class while the teacher is teaching. Their cell phone comes out, and all of a sudden, I see it on Instagram or Snapchat. It's a 10 o'clock class, and I'm sitting in my office, and I look. Oh, they are in the class right now with their cell phone out. They're making memes and doing all this other stuff. I could name names, but I won't. So we don't want that. We want them in class learning. So students, you got to have your phones away. Okay? So if your phone's out, first warning, I'm going to be nice. Teacher's going to be nice. I know you forgot. Put it back in your locker. Second time, okay. Now I'm going to have your parents come and get the phone. Third offense means you obviously love me so much you want to meet with me. Okay? Your phones need to be put away. We want you learning. Okay? And you know what? One other reason why I want your phones away, I want you to learn how to interact with people. Okay? Way back when, no phones. They had a cord and they were attached to your, by your fridge at home. And we actually had to talk to people. I'm going to help you do that. So at lunch, you don't need your phone. You can talk to people. It'll be amazing. Music will start playing randomly. You'll be joyous. You'll enjoy the environment. It'll be amazing. So no phones out. But you know what? At 3 o'clock, you can run to your phone and update the world. But 8 to 3, let's keep it in our locker, okay? Next. Wanted to make sure I emphasize this. Picture taking, video recording, once again, prohibited during school days. And I really want to stress this. A lot of schools throughout the state have been having an issue with this problem where students are taking pictures of other students in the bathroom, locker rooms. That is not allowed. And I'm letting you know legally, if you do that, you can be prosecuted. They are classifying that as sexual harassment. Do not do that. Your phone does not come out in a bathroom. You're not recording people in a locker room. It's just not appropriate. Okay, it's not right. And guys, we're a Christian school. Shouldn't we act like Christians, act like the Savior? I don't think the Savior would have a cell phone in the bathroom. So you don't need to have yours. Okay? So I want to make sure we're clear on that. And then, at this moment now, I'm going to ask all the young people, you get to leave and go to your locker area with the teachers. Parents, stay. So your teachers will be by the locker areas to help you pick out your locker. And you guys can go. 6th graders, your locker is all the way upstairs in the 300 area. And then parents, if you'll stay. All right, we'll give them another minute to leave. Okay, before I get to the finances, a couple of other items of business I want to talk about, just with the dress code and different things that you need to know as well. Making sure everybody understands. I didn't hit jewelry too hard, but students can't have earrings. They can have a necklace, but we don't, let's just back up. Male students cannot have earrings. Girls can have the earrings, okay? Students obviously can't have tattoos. We just want a simple look, but I want to make sure you're all hearing the same thing so that, you know, if your child has an earring, it has to be off at school, okay? Unless they're a girl, then they can wear their earrings, all right? I want to make sure I mention that. Now I want to talk about finances and tuition. This is due the first of each month, beginning August 1st. Some of you, though, are on the September plan. So whether you're on August, September, that's okay, but we just want to make sure you get that. And then there's a 10-day grace period. But on the 11th day, there's a $20 late fee that's charged, and also your child has to sit out. And the school board, I'm just being transparent. I know that there are financial struggles, so on and so forth, but the school board has instructed me that I will have to enforce your child sitting off. You don't pay your school bill on time. I have to enforce that. So you need to make sure that that's taken care of. I don't like doing that. It's very uncomfortable. It's not, you know, it's one of the most unfun parts of my job. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm being like 100% transparent with you. Here's what some people say to me. But aren't you guys Christians? We are Christians. But can I just be real with you? Our school does not make a lot of money. If I'm telling you the truth, the teachers' salaries, teachers are making $34,000, $35,000. Their counterparts in the public school, my teachers are just as educated and qualified. They're making double that. So when you don't pay it, what you're telling me is, I don't know if the Christian education is as important. Hey, my mom was a single parent and she struggled every day to put me through this school. So I understand it. She sacrificed. She worked 14-hour days so I could graduate from First Baptist School because she refused to let me be in Minneapolis public schools. I understand the sacrifice, but I need people to pay the bills on time. It's got to happen. If you have something major that happens, I know there are things that happen, but I'm just telling you, we got to have the school bills on time because we got to pay our bills. I got to pay the teachers. You understand? 87% of our budget goes to pay the teachers. And they're not making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. Nobody here does that. We are purposely working for less money because we feel God has called us to do this as a ministry. And we want to see these kids go forward for Christ. That's why we're doing it. So we're not in it for the money. And I'm not trying to nickel and dime people. I really am not. I'm trying to keep costs down. If you look around, our tuition is the lowest of any school of our kind. And I also want to point out, do you know that our school is the #1 private school in this area? United Christian Academy, if you go there, $12,000 to $14,000. You go to New Life Academy, $17,000. Cretin-Derham Hall, $35,000. We're $6,000. And we do that on purpose. And we're giving your kid a quality education. So I'm making it very clear to everybody. I hate having that discussion, but I want you to understand where my heart is. And so you know, okay? Moving on here. Just a couple of other general things, and I'm going to let you guys go, and I'll also take some questions as well if we have any. But I really want you to know I love being the administrator of First Baptist School. I love serving you as families, and I want to help you. If you have a problem or issue, I want you to go through the chain of command. So if your kid is in middle school and there's a problem, if it's involving like an incident in the classroom, please go to the teacher. If you can't get help from the teacher or the situation doesn't change, you're going to go to Dr. McKay. Dr. McKay is the middle school principal. And so he'll be around, you'll be able to talk to him. If you still can't have your problem solved, then you come to me, okay, if you're a middle school student. High school students, I'm the administrator and the high school principal. But if you have a problem, go to the teacher. You can also talk to Mrs. Murphy or myself. But we want to solve problems. And I'm just telling you, parents, don't let something fester. I don't want you to sit here and have a problem for 4 months, and the next thing I know, you're pulling your kid out, and you never told me. Like, come talk to me first so that we can at least see if we can address the problem. And maybe we can't solve the problem, like the way you would want it, but you got to come and talk to me. Everyone understand that? I hate when parents say to me, "Am I bothering you?" You're not bothering me. You're paying me, right? You're paying me, and I want to be a help to you. And plus, you're my brother or sister in Christ. I want to serve you. That is my job. So you got to come and talk to me, okay? The other thing I want to address as well, we have really been making a point to address just a couple of issues that I see in the student body, and I want to make you aware of them. One of the things that's been brought to my attention is bullying. And there's subtle bullying that happens that I want everyone to be mindful of, okay? Our kids come home, tell us things that happen. I need you, though, to not right away just jump to like, I'm going down to that school and I'm going to correct that. No, like, just know, my kids come home too, and they unload a bunch of stuff, and I listen. And I try to really say, okay, what happened? A lot of times I'll say, well, let me go talk to the teacher about what happened. Don't talk to the teacher. Sometimes that is because they think they're going to be embarrassed, but sometimes it's because there's also two sides to a story. Everybody has to understand there's two sides to a story. Sometimes there's three sides to a story. And so don't rush right away to think, hey, there's something bad going on and my kids being, no, not necessarily. But bring the problem to us so that we can kind of research it and find out what's going on, because we will do that. But I want you, though, to teach your kids also, when there is a problem, go and talk to the authorities so that we can help it. And I also want to make sure I clarify bullying for you. So bullying has evolved from when many of us were in school, okay? When I was in school, even at First Baptist School here, I remember walking into bathrooms and kids were getting swirlies. I was not giving the swirlies. I want to make sure I clarify that. But I walked into the bathroom, kids were getting swirlies. I saw kids hung up by their underwear in the locker room, okay? I would classify that as bullying. We do not have that happening in our school right now. We don't. Because the bullying has morphed. And I'm telling you, parents, check your kids' cell phones, because that's where a lot of the bullying's happening. It's not happening in front of the teacher. So when your student says, "Oh, my teacher saw it," I don't know how many of you are in education, but can I just tell you, when you're teaching in a classroom, you do notice, we're trained to notice some things, But the bullying's not really happening there normally. Maybe a kid whispers something or says something. But a lot of times when we say, hey, what was said? What do? They don't tell us everything. I didn't say anything. Yeah, you did. What do you say? Nothing? They're not going to tell us. But then we find out there's bullying happening online. So I need you to check your kids' phones. Because that's where some things are said. Last year I intercepted a middle school conversation that was not great because they forgot. My daughter was on that thread and I can mirror her phone, and I do. So I saw everything that was said. I'm encouraging you, check their phones. And I'm going to tell you this too. They tell you they have one Instagram or one Snapchat. They don't. They've got two. They've got one that you see and one that's hidden. Check it. Don't believe, our kids are all sinners. Susie would never lie to me. Susie will lie to you in a heartbeat. Every one of my kids is capable of lying. Because every one of us is capable of lying. So I'm telling you this, I'm not trying to tell you how to parent. I'm just saying, this is where some of the bullying's happening. I need your help. Check their phones religiously. It'd be good also. Make them put their phone in your room at night. So they're not texting late at night. Because this is where some of it's happening. They're texting, they're coming up with creative ways. Some kids, I'm finding out, have two cell phones, one you know about, and they got one from someone else. I'm just being real with you. Our kids are very smart when they want to be. All of our kids. So I'm letting you know this because I want to put a stop to a lot of this stuff that's being said on social media. And that goes into, there's body shaming that's happening. There's just things that shouldn't be, okay? So I want your help with that. And that's why I want to take some time to talk about this. And by the way, this doesn't mean that every one of our students is doing this. And I always remind you, parents, the problems we deal with at First Baptist School are nothing compared to what they're dealing with in Eastview. You know what most of my problems are? Stop talking in class. Why'd you post that on social media? I'd rather deal with that. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure, though, we're on top of these things, okay? And then I'll finish off by saying, with the bullying, if there is a legitimate problem, I really do want you to come to me about that. But I want you to really look at it. Our world has, like I said, bullying has morphed so much. And I gave an example in the elementary thing. If someone calls your kid a poo-poo head, that's not bullying. That's a kid being dumb. The kid shouldn't say that, but that's a kid being dumb. But bullying, I'm physically intimidating you. I am verbally abusive to you. I am, saying things about you on social media, doing those different things. Yes, that does classify as bullying. But I will say with the social media stuff too, that's harder for the school to deal with. I'm just letting you know that. Because it's happening outside of school. We have to deal with the problems that happen in school. But if it's happening outside of school, you can let us know. But just so you know, 4:00 in the afternoon, they post something about your kid. You're asking us to solve a very tough problem. Because it didn't happen at school. So it's hard for me I have to look at my handbook and I have to say, what school handbook rule did they break after, you see what I'm saying? It's after hours. So I need you to step in. I am more than happy to orchestrate a meeting. But I'm saying ultimately it's gonna be on you when it comes to that, okay? Everyone understand? All right, I said a lot now. I'm gonna shut up. But Mrs. Ruffy, that the schedules? Okay, yeah. Okay, we are going to make sure you get those packets, and then I'm going to hand out this bucket for you to put in your name if you wrote on that piece of paper for the drawing. So I can draw your name, and I have two $50 gift cards to give away for the Donald's uniforms, okay? So if you filled that out, I'm gonna pass this around. All right, while we're waiting, if you have a question about something that you think might be a general question, if you want to stand up, I will answer any questions if anyone has any, if you think you have a general one. Yep, go ahead, Siri. Sure, that's a good question. So the PSAT and the ACT, we do have some prep classes for that. There's a couple of things that we'll do just within the class, but one of the things that you can do, there's so many online programs. Actually, I work with the kids when we do the ACT. Myself and Mrs. Bruffy, we walk them through kind of the steps. We help them get registered for it, and then we show them the available sources, and then we also offer a couple of classes from different teachers to help them. Pastor, now you have a couple. Okay. Anyone else need a ticket still here? All right. There's one. All right. Anyone else have a question? If you want to stand up, a general question you think, or that you need to ask. If that's an excuse. Yep. So anything that's like a doctor appointment or something, a funeral, things like those are excused. Just the unexcused kind of things. All right. So write your name on that, please. And as soon as you write your name, girls, I'm going to have you take the bucket. Did you have a question? Yes, sir. Is there a list of needs where it's volunteer? Yep, good question. So if you're ever interested in volunteering, there is different areas that we need. The kitchen is one of the biggest needs that our school has as far as help. We're serving a lot of lunches every day, So if you're interested in helping there, that'd be great. I know there's teachers who would love to have volunteers come in to the classroom, help with reading groups, so on and so forth. To do that, that's in the elementary especially, but you don't necessarily have to have a kid in elementary to do that if you want to. You would just go to the office, talk to Mr. McCroskey, and he would get you set up with that. Okay. And then there's other opportunities that we'll make known to everybody. We'll email out if we have other things as well. All right. Okay, anyone else? Yes. So there's a mom's prayer group, and several of the moms are that. Can you raise your hand if you're in that group? There's several of them, okay? And so you can talk to any of them about that, and they do a great job. One of the things they've done in years past even is just walking around the school and praying for the school. Like, that was so cool to see. And we've had them in chapel as well. The moms came in and they did a roundtable discussion. Probably one of my favorite chapels of the year, to be quite honest. So, which reminds me as well, we are now starting, and I should have mentioned this before, I forgot. But so we used to have in the past a PTF, or Parent-Teacher Fellowship meeting that we would do every other month. What we are doing now is 2 times a year, in November and in March, we're going to have a time where we meet together as, where you meet with the faculty and the parents come in. So kind of like a parent-teacher fellowship. We've given it just a new spin to it. And I'm actually right now working on a committee of parents. Some people I've already called and talked to you about that. But that committee will help us with fundraising, different initiatives, programs to help improve the school. And by the way, if you're interested in that, you're welcome to come and talk to me. I have already contacted some parents about that. But I really want to make sure that we're in lockstep together, and that gives us the time for parents to also address issues that maybe we're not aware of at school. But I really mean this. Our job as a school is to partner with you as parents. So the better our communication is, the better it is. And so we're going to be starting that here, and you'll have some information being sent out about that. All right, anyone else have a question? Okay. I will be around to answer anything that you have. Now I'm going to draw some names. So if this were the kids, I'd say give me a drum roll, but I won't make it. Okay. First name. Let's see here. No, I'm pretty sure it is. I just want to say, Tesbia. I know who that is. I just want to say I'm saying it right. Is she in here right now? Ready yet? That's Batanya's mom, right? Yeah, I was going to say, I knew that. Okay, yay. All right, the next name. Sean McKinney. I actually just buy my uniforms by taking the ones that your kids leave in the locker room. I say, hey kids, look, shopping. No. Okay. I have no clue. I think it says Rhodes. But is that yours? Did you just put Rhodes? R-H-O? Okay, Rhodes, all right. Yeah. All right, well, that's all that I have for the drawing. I'm sorry. But if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to come and talk to me. And once again, I want to thank you for having your kid at First Baptist School. All right, you're dismissed. Reminder, the chess class, if you want to do that, you can sign up for that out there. as well. And then make sure to grab your packet.